In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the function buttons for a Siemens Pyrotronics MXL fire alarm panel. You can see on the front, this is the Siemens Pyrotronics MXL. I believe this was before Siemens acquired Cerberus. See right here, Siemens Pyrotronics MXL. I'm basically going to refer to this to as a Siemens MXL because they took over the brand many years ago, and I think they have the Pro panel now, the Cerberus Pro, if I'm not mistaken. But this is like the older one, is backed by Cerberus. But I'm going to show you how to use the function key. So you have your normal screen and your buttons and everything here. And just for reference, you have your CPU card on the back. This is going to be the Siemens model MKB-5. So there's a different model, I forget the number off the top of my head, where it's a thin strip all the way across. I don't like that one. It's harder to see. But there's that style, then there's this style with a bigger screen. But this part of it, with all your buttons, are basically all the same. So, you know, you have your normal alarm acknowledge, audible silence, supervisor acknowledge, trouble acknowledge, security acknowledge, reset, number buttons, menu buttons, and your function key buttons. So these are what we're going to focus on right here. So typically the way this works, it's rows and columns. So this function right here vertically is a column. The Alt1 function right here vertically is a column. And Alt2 function here vertically is a column. And then the rows are the F's. So this is the F1 row. This is the F2 row. This is the F3 row. And this is the F4 row. And the way it works is whenever they program in points, they'll put them in these individual boxes, and you'll hit the corresponding buttons with the row. So whenever you do the columns and the rows. So whenever you do this function column, so I have an AV disarm and a ducts disarm. So that's in this functions column. I'm only going to hit the function keys F1 and F2 because there's nothing for F3 and F4. So I'm only going to hit F1 and F2. And then when I want to arm, because that's disarm, this column, when I want to arm, which is the Alt1 function column, I'm going to hold the Alt button down, then hit the F1, which is going to arm my AV, and then I'm going to hit the Alt1 and hit F2 to arm my ducts. So I use the function keys only, the F1, 2, 3, 4 on this first column. I hold Alt1 and then press the F1, 2, 3, 4 to do the second column. And then I hold the Alt2 and then the F1 through 4 for the third column. And then whatever row I'm doing horizontally, this is the F1 row again, F2 row, F3 row, F4 row. So this is kind of confusing if you don't know, but like very simple to do. So let's say I'm just starting out and I want to do my inspection and I want to disarm the panel so I don't sound any audibles or anything like that. I'm going to first look at what the labeling is, right? Because I'm going to look for that labeling. It says AV disarm, and that's what I want. I want to disarm. And then the ducts disarm. I want to disarm them. So that's in the function column, not the Alt1 function column or the Alt2 function column. This is in the function column. So I'm not going to use the Alt buttons, and I'm just going to hit the F1, F2 buttons. So currently I have no troubles, just to show you. And I'm going to hit the F1, and you'll see on the panel, I zoom out a little bit, I'll get a new trouble. So now my audible outputs are disabling, as you can see. And there's going to be a lot of them. So I'm just letting them count up right now. So we're at 16. So I'm going to hit trouble acknowledge. And because it's a Siemens style panel, you get the in acknowledge, in acknowledge. So that means the trouble's in. And then when you clear it, you'll get the out. So I'll show you that after. But right now, so I hit the F1, right? Because I went to the function column, the first column, and I wanted to disarm the audiovisual. I hit F1, now it's disarmed. So I'm going to do F2 now, and it's going to disarm the ducts. So I'm going to zoom out so you can see me press the button. Okay, so my new troubles are coming in. See the duct check troubles. So I only got a few there, so that's good. So right now, my layout, I have my alarm at 0, supervisory at 0, trouble 20, And then there's no security stuff on this panel. It says 0. But basically my 20 troubles is what I'm looking for. So now all these are in, which means they're all disarmed. So now I have my AV disarmed and my ducts disarmed, because that was this first two in this first column, vertical column. So now I can go do testing. I could do my I could do my alarm testing and no audibles will go off. I could do my duct detector testing and no fans or air handling units will shut down or dampers closing, anything like that. So I could just go about my testing. So let's say we're at the end of the day and you want to put everything back to normal. You're gonna do the arm column now. So we're no longer doing the function column. Now we're doing the Alt1 function column, because the AV disarm and the duct disarm was in the function column, and the arm for the AV and the ducts are in the Alt1 function. So if I hit F1 again, which is disarm, nothing's going to happen. So you can't rearm it with the button you used to disarm it. You have to use the disarm function to do that. So what I'm going to do is because this is the Alt1 function column, not the Alt2, right? So I have Alt1, Alt2, right? So I'm going to hold Alt1 down and then press F1, which will arm the AV. And then I'm going to hold Alt1 and then press F2 to arm the ducts. So right now we're at 20 troubles. So you can see everything's in. And like I said, when I activate it, it'll be out. So I'm going to, just to show you, I'm going to hold Alt1. I'm going to hit F2. I'm going to give it a second. Assuming I pressed it right. There we go. So now my ducts I armed, so they're out. So they're no longer in. This is when the trouble came in when I disarmed it. Now it says out because I've armed them. So now they're back to normal. So I've done Alt1 F2 in my vertical column here, and I've armed the ducts now. And my troubles counted up to 24. So I had 4 troubles when they came in, and I have 4 new troubles for the out when they restore. So now I'm going to do the Alt F1, which is going to arm our AV system. So I'm going to kind of zoom out so you can see. I'm going to push and hold Alt, and then press F1. Okay, and now I'm going to get all my out troubles now for all the outputs, because they're restoring now, so they're coming back in. So I'm going to be at 40 troubles, so I'm doubled, right? I had 20 troubles total from the disable of the audio-visual, or for the disarm of the audio-visual and the disarm of the ducts gave me 20 troubles. And then I armed those now, the AV and the ducts, and I have 40 troubles, the ins and outs. So these troubles will stay on your screen until you just do a reset and you'll clear it, right? That's just how the Siemens systems work. They have the in and the out. They don't just restore. But now everything's armed, so I am going to do a reset. And sometimes this will give me a timer to reset. Let's see if it does it. Okay, I got lucky. Sometimes it'll say reset inhibited, and you have to wait a few seconds, which is fine. Like 60 seconds at most. But we're just going to wait for this to clear. Just give it a second. Panel's slow. But again, depending on what your labelings are, you're going to use these function buttons for whichever one you're trying to do. Okay, so everything's cleared. So now we're at alarms 0, supervisory 0, troubles 0, no troubles, and security 0. So everything's zeroed out, right? So we're back to normal. I don't have my trouble LEDs or anything like that lit up. So it's back to normal. So I know sometimes people can be kind of confused with the button layout. Once you learn it, it's pretty easy. You just have to look at which columns and rows you're using. So again, just real quick, function column, Alt1 function column, Alt2 function column. So whenever you do function column, you're only doing the F keys. And then when you're doing the Alt1 function column, you're only doing Alt1 and then the function, the F1, F2, F3, F4. And if you're going to do the Alt2 column, then you're only going to do the Alt2 and press F1, F2, F3, F4, right? So you have to push and hold the Alts and then press the F1 through 4 buttons, whichever one you're using. So just want to make sure it's clear so people kind of get that. But anyway, that is how you use the disable function buttons on the Cerberus Pyrotronics MXL fire alarm panel, which, is technically owned by Siemens now, so it's the Siemens MXL. But that's it for this video.